Good evening, on and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, and Viksit Bharat at 2047. In collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing as part of awareness and campaigns. Before we start today's celebrations and commemorations, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue today's commemorations and celebrations. This week is celebrated as World Space Week from 4th to 10th of October. World Space Week has come into force by Resolution 54 by 68 on 6th December 1999. The General Assembly proclaimed World Space Week to celebrate the contributions of space science and technology to the betterment of human condition. So, World Space Week is the largest annual space event in the world. It helps build up the workforce of tomorrow by inspiring students, demonstrates visible public support for the space program, educates the public about space activities, and fosters the international cooperation in space outreach and education. So each year, a theme is selected by the World Space Week Association Board of Directors in close coordination with the UN Office of Outer Space Affairs. The theme provides broad guidelines to World Space Week, participates on the content of their programs. The theme is selected to increase the impact of World Space Week on all humanity further by using a uniform theme globally. So for World Space Week 2025, the chosen theme is Living in Space. This theme explores humanity's journey towards making space a habitat, emphasizing the innovative technologies, challenges, and collaborative efforts that makes this vision a reality. Even organizations worldwide are encouraged to integrate the theme living in space into their World Space Week events. Activities may range from educational workshops and interactive sessions to panel discussions and collaborative projects, all aimed at fostering innovative environmental solutions. So on 4th October 1957, the launch to the outer space of the first human-made Earth satellite, Sputnik 1, opened the way for space exploration. A decade later, on 10th October 1967, the Treaty on the Principles Governing the Activities of States in the Exploration and the Use of Outer Space, including the Moon and other celestial bodies, entered into force. Space science and technology and their applications are increasingly being used to support a wide range of United Nations activities. As a consequence, coordination and cooperation and synergy are essential for those activities to be effectively carried out by the United Nations system. The annual sessions of the Interagency Meeting on Outer Space Activities are the main means of achieving that synergy. The effectiveness of the meeting has been further enhancing by the holding since 2004 of an open informal session immediately after the end of the meeting as a means of engaging member states in a direct and informal settings in important space related developments in the United Nations system. The agenda of the interagency meeting is reviewed at each session and adapted to the current operational needs. From the very beginning of the space age, the United Nations recognized the outer space added a dimension to humanity's existence. The United Nations family strives continuously to utilize the unique benefits of outer space of the betterment of humankind. Recognizing the common interest of humankind in outer space and seeking to answer questions on how outer space can help benefit the peoples of Earth, the General Assembly adopted its first resolution related to outer space, Resolution 1348, 8, entitled Question of the Peaceful Use of Outer Space. On 10th October 1967, the Magna Carta of Space, also known as the Treaty of Principles Governing the Activities of States in the Exploration and Use of Outer Space, including the Moon and other celestial bodies, entered into force. And today, the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, in short known as UNOSA, is the United Nations office responsible for promoting international cooperation in the peaceful uses of outer space. UNOSA serves as the Secretariat for the General Assembly, only committee dealing exclusively with international cooperation in peaceful use of outer space. The United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Use of Outer Space, COPUOS, in short. So UNOSA is also responsible for implementing the Secretary General's responsibilities under the International Space Law and maintaining the United Nations Register of Objects Launched into the Outer Space. The United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, in short known as UNOSA, works to promote international cooperation in the peaceful use and exploration of space and in utilization of space science and technology for sustainable economic and social development. The office assists any United Nations member states to establish legal and regulatory frameworks to govern space activities and strengthen the capacity of developing countries to use space science, technology, and applications for development by helping to integrate space capabilities into national development programs. On October 4th, 1957, the first human-made Earth satellite, Sputnik, was launched into outer space, thus opening the way for space exploration. On 12th April 1961, Yuri Gagarin became the first human to orbit the Earth, opening a new chapter of human endeavor in outer space. The race to conquer space in the 21st century has changed significantly, allowing countries such as China, India, Japan, and European Union to enter the space race. So various events are organized this year. like executive short course space project management to understand uh, the nuances from 3rd to 8th November 2025, hosted by Regional Center for Space Science and Technology Education in China. And also, there is a special law conference on operationalizing space sustainability, legal and regulatory approaches across the life cycle of space debris, translating space sustainability into national regulatory frameworks, agreement on the rescue and return of astronauts and return of objects launched into outer space in practice, and emerging space operations and legal considerations, organized by United Nations Conference of Space Law and Policy by United Nations in Vienna, Austria from 19th to 20th November 2025. And there is also another conference on the commercial lunar landscape and policy needs at Vienna International Center, Austria, from 17th to 18th November 2025. Both conferences are at the same venue, one after the other. So there is a dedicated website for World Space Week celebrations. Today is also commemorated as World Animal Day, as it's now the time for all animal lovers to show us their compassion, because October 4th is World Animal Day and we are planning to make a big role. Animals can't talk in conventional way that humans communicate with each other, but there's one day there we can all give a voice to the animals who can't speak for themselves. On October 4th, people spanning the globe will come together to celebrate World Animal Day in any corner of the planet, no matter which country you explore. Animals will consistently have a strong impact in the region's culture. So World Animal Day dates as far back as 1925, when Heinrich Zimmermann organized the first celebration in Berlin. Zimmermann, the publisher of a German animal lovers magazine, Man and Dog, launched the event to raise awareness and improve the welfare of animals. The date of October 4th is also known as the feast day of Saint Francis of Assisi, the patron saint of animals. Beloved among all Catholics, Saint Francis was famously recognized for his remarkable way that with animals and all living things. So Saint Francis is also chosen papal name for his holiness himself, Pope Francis. Some Catholic churches have even been known to offer blessings to pets on this day in honor of all Saint Francis has done for animals. So World Animal Day has also become an arena for ecologists to discuss the problems associated with endangered species. Beginning in 2003, the UK-based charity Nature Watch Foundation has sponsored the event and organized way for animal lovers all over the world to take part and their voices heard in support of our animal friends. So this day is not just for domesticated animals, it's for wild animals, endangered species, and every animal on the planet. And also the planet which has lost many species. And this day is not just for the living and also the extinct and the endangered and those threatened by environmental devastation or lack of protection. This day is a reminder not just to love animals in our homes, but to appreciate and respect all living things that are part of ecosystem. So Greek philosopher Pythagoras is the first in line of several Greek and Roman philosophers to teach that animals have souls and advocate for vegetarianism since 530 BC. Early Vegans, Levin Compets publishes moral inquiries on the situation of man and brutes, one of the first books advocating for animal rights in 1624 in the West. The power of literature in 1877, Anna Sewell novel Black Beauty is the first English novel written for the perspective of non-human and spurs debate over the treatment of horses. The International Animal Protection Congress in Florence, Italy, unanimously accepted and adopted World Animal Day globally in 1931, leading to animal victory. The Society for Animal Protective Legislation, in short known as SAPL, makes waves and is the first organization to lobby for humane slaughter legislation in the US in 1955. So there are events offline and online like ours. Check out local animal shelters and conservation centers to find out if there are any opportunities for you to give back and participate in this World Animal Week. So from today onwards, we'll be having every day some aspect of animal welfare being covered this entire week. So keep joining apart from other regular event schedule. There's a lot you can do. You can volunteer at the local shelter or the conservation center, join in a peaceful protest, or donate to your favorite animal rights organization, or attend programs online and offline like this to gain more knowledge and also spread your word and also share your observances. If you are an expert in animal welfare or rights, or if you are a animal lover or a pet parent, you can also share your observations on this platform. You are all welcome in this week. And you can also adopt a pet. We are soon coming up on 8th, on the last day of this World Animal Welfare Week and Animal Day being celebrated today. We are also organizing a session on pets and how a pet can be chosen and what kind of pet is suitable for you. So we request everyone to keep following our social media handles and WhatsApp groups so that you can register yourself and join and choose a pet. So adopting a pet, where various programs are organized in your locality, like Pet Adopt-a-thons are a common event held in many cities on this day or even this week. So it's a small action that can make big difference. At these events, attendees can also learn about pet ownership and care, share stories with fellow pet owners, buy pet-related toys, products, food, and many more. So peaceful protests are also commonplace around the world on October 4th. These can range from the better treatment of agricultural livestock to complete termination of cultural pastimes such as bullfighting, whale slaughtering, poaching elephants, and other wildlife animals. There are some fascinating facts about animals across the world, like sea life. We see seahorses made for a life, and when they travel, they hold each other's tails. And the heart of a shrimp is located in its head, hard-headed. At 188 decibels, the blue whale can produce its loudest sound of any animal on the planet. A tiger skin also has stripes, and each pattern is a unique as human fingerprint. And a tiger can't change its stripes. And flamingos are naturally white. Their diet of brine, shrimp, and algae turns them pink. So ecosystems are extremely fragile. When one species exists for any reason, it often has serious repercussions for the rest of the system. By celebrating World Animal Day, so we raise awareness about the importance of conserving the balance in our ecosystems. This ensures tons of thousands of people will maintain their farming and fishing livelihoods. The mission of World Animal Day is to bring together all humans in the name of improving the lives of animals. This means all people, regardless of nationality, faith, religion, or political or geographical or ideologies, are welcome to join to make a difference. The ultimate goal is to ensure animals are recognized as sentient beings, and we do all we can to improve their welfare. Over the years, World Animal Day has seen a great success in improving the lives of animals in Egypt. The day's events had led to additional clauses in Egyptian consultation and constitution that offers rights to animals. Similarly, in Sudan, Parliament has introduced new legislation meant to protect animals. Similarly, in Indian constitution, also there are provisions to protect animals and animal rights and promote animal welfare. Today is also commemorated as World Card Making Day on October 4th, which is an exciting day that is celebrated every first Saturday in October. So this day is dedicated to crafty ones, those that would prefer to make a card rather than buy one. The day was started in 2006 so that crafters can get a head start on the gift-giving holiday season. Creating handmade cards for loved ones to celebrate different holidays and special occasions is an art form, one that many people from around the world indulge. As such, it does make some sense. The celebration was initially only for subscribers of the magazine, but that were pleasantly surprised when it went viral. And this was how the day that was birthed and is now celebrated thousands all over the world. A company called Two Piece was also part of this history of World Card Making Day. They were involved with the first events commemorating the day. So the celebration was initially only for the subscribers of their magazine, and the history had card making itself dates back to Victorian era in the West. Then they had cards that announced someone's arrival, the cards that were plain with no emotion, but things started to change as new printing techniques became available, and they started making more colorful cards, which are gradually changed and how they were used. People started sending them to each other for different occasions. This was how card making industry was built. Calling cards became penny postcards, which eventually became modern day gift cards. These days, you can possibly get a card for anything you need. There are business cards, greeting cards, IV cards, all sorts, and what better way to express yourself through cards that making them yourself. Make them with person they are intended for in mind, and you will definitely steal their heart. Today is also commemorated as National Truckers Day in US. On October 4th, honors very deserving group of people their dedication to taking on one of the most challenging and essential jobs in the country while keeping the economy moving. We tip our hats, or rather our tucker caps of them, and salute often unnoticed and underappreciated profession that boasts some of the bravest, kindest men and women in the US. Without trucks traveling to and from destinations, delivering products and other essential cargo, the American landscape, especially long distance roads, would be empty. Truck drivers provide an important societal service by transporting finished goods and raw materials to and from manufacturing plants, retail outlets, and distribution centers. Truck drivers must also impact their vehicle for mechanical issues of safety concerns and be aware of the truck axle weight limits in every state and be aware of the truck axle weight limits in every state, and other such as driver sales workers are in charge of sales as well as cleaning, preparing, and entertaining and the customer service. Truck drivers collaborate closely with warehouse associations and workers to load and unload shipments. Today is also commemorated as National Taco Day in US. Taco Tuesday was actually trademarked across the country in 1989 by a Wyoming-based fast food chain called Tacos John's, except in New Jersey, where the trademark has already been claimed by the Gregory's Restaurant and Bar back in 82. However, no need to worry about legality of what their dinner is called. On National Taco Day, we only need to grab some tortillas and stuff them with savory fillings from traditional cheese, tomato, lettuce, and sour cream to make more exotic gustatory delights like many vegetarian fillings, even tongue to name only a few. Lots of meat alternatives, going vegan. Even the word stuff is no accident. Many believe that the word taco derives from the Spanish taco, meaning to stuff. Today is also commemorated as National Golf Lovers Day in US on October 4th. Exhilarating and desperating, thrilling and embarrassing, joyous and depressing. No activity on earth compares the full emotional spectrum like golf, and that's why we love it. This October 4th celebrates the National Golfers Day by recognizing one of the world's most popular sports. Hit the links and play a ground as you enjoy a few competitive and friendly laughs with your fellow sufferers. When golf can drive even the greatest players completely bonkers, hitting just one good shot means that you can't wait to see it up again. In other words, just repeat and repeat. Today is also commemorated as National Cinnamon Roll Day in US. A warm buttery bun with sugar, honey, and cinnamon. Sweet treats are made of these. And who are we to disagree now on the National Cinnamon Roll Day? Held annually on October 4th, you can indulge yourself. Everyone loves cinnamon rolls and everyone has their special favorite with the recipe. So this day was first commemorated around 20 years ago in the Sweden, and love for this day is just as sweet. All over the country, people bake and enjoy various types of cinnamon rolls on this day, whether you buy them or bake them. Let the sweet times roll on. Today is also commemorated as Lesotho Independence Day in Lesotho. On October 4th every year as a day of nation became a sovereignty state from the British in 1966. At that time it was known as Busto land, but upon independence it was renamed the Kingdom of Lesotho with a king at its helm, Moshoe II, and first Prime Minister, Chief Leba Jonathan. This landlocked country, which is completely surrounded by South Africa, is still going strong, has largely been unaffected by political turmoils that have affected other African nations. Today is also commemorated as Kindness to Animal Day on October 4th in Philippines. Every year for over 60 years, beginning with a proclamation issued by then President of the Philippines, Carlos Polestico Garcia, The fact that a president of a country made that part of his life's work shows that no matter who you are, what you do, or where you come from, being compassionate towards animals is and will always be a worthy cause. Pets, particularly the domestic ones, have been scientifically proven to reduce stress, anxiety, and depression, alleviate loneliness, and promote exercise and playfulness. Caring for an animal can help children become more secure and active as they grow older. Pets can also be valuable source of championship for the elderly, but it doesn't just end with pets. We'll take a break for a moment. A pet can also be a valuable source for companionship for the elderly and every age group, but it doesn't just end with pets. Being kind to animals is a great way to get connected with them on a deeper level out of respect and understanding. Being kind to animals is good for you, those around you, and the animals themselves. So in the Philippines, Polestico Gracia, a lawyer by profession, entered politics when he was elected to the House of Representatives to represent the 3rd District of Bohol. He later became the 8th President of the Philippines. He was known for being teacher, poet, orator, lawyer, and political economist who was passionate about animals and wildlife. So much so that on September 30, 1958, in the city of Manila, Garcia issued proclamation number 537 declaring the 4th day of October each year as Kindness to the Animals Day. So the proclamation emphasized the importance of instilling the virtues of kindness, justice, and mercy in all living creatures and condemned all forms of cruelty to both men and animals. Garcia called upon all citizens and residents of the Philippines, government officials and employees, public and private schools, churches, and civic organizations to observe this special day with programs and ceremonies so that all people can get involved to showcase their compassion for animals in Philippines. So Improve Your Office Day is commemorated in US on October 4th, marks the day when we declutter, make our workspace more productive and even uplift the spirits of our houses if necessary. The concept of an office originated from the medieval monks' scriptorium, a place for writing, but the concept became formalized in the 18th century when the East Indian Company needed a bureaucracy to process information and to make decisions about its newly acquired empire in India. Over the years, the office has undergone different designs, sizes, and philosophies, but it has always been within a designated building. Today is also commemorated as Frugal Fun Day in US. It is an ultimate day for you to have all the fun in the world without breaking the bank. That is kiddie bank. Frugality, which means to spend money sparingly, is a quality that may be frowned upon for its cheapness factor. However, in today's fast-paced world where everything is getting more and more expensive by the minute, being frugal is something everyone should strive for. Frugal Fun Day encourages you to have fun by spending $5 or less on a fun activity. If the activity is free, then that is even better. The goal of this day is to make people realize that money doesn't make fun for a fun time. It is up to you to have fun. Today is also commemorated as Bookshop Day on October 4th in UK, United Kingdom. October is a good time for new books to come out in the run up to Christmas for Bookshop Day in the West and then start of the important fall selling season. Bookshop owners are encouraged to hold parties, events, and book signings on their stories. Every year, more than 1,000 bookshops across the country participate in Bookshop Day. They hold special events, make unique window displays, and so on. It's a part of the Books Are My Bag campaign, which is run by Booksellers Association. Today is also commemorated as Albuquerque International Balloon Festa in Mexico. Is a 9-day event that occurs annually in the first full week of October. It begins on Saturday, and this year it is held from October 4th to 12th. This hot air balloon festival takes place in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The Albuquerque International Balloon Festa began in 1972 with a total of 13 balloons. Since its humble beginning, it has since become the largest balloon event in the world. Now there are about 600 balloons and 700 pilots that feature at the Balloon Festa, and it is the most photographed event on Earth and the largest annual international event held in the US. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us in these celebrations and commemorations. So we request everyone to fill the feedback form that is being shared in the form of polls before leaving the platform. And tomorrow, we are celebrating World Teachers Day at 2 o'clock with the same joining link. And then in the evening, we have also a program scheduled in collaboration with the Pure Foundation and also AMFI, that is Association of Mutual Funds of India, at 6 o'clock. We have already sent an email to all the registered participants and also those who have recently attended our programs. Kindly check your mail and register yourself, and also look out in WhatsApp groups and channel. You can find the registration links and you can join. Those who have not nominated yourself, you can nominate yourself, and those who would like to make presentations are welcome to make presentations. Presentations should not exceed 5 to 10 minutes, and nominations can be made as early as possible. So if we receive nominations well in advance, tomorrow we'll present your appreciation on the platform. Otherwise, we'll be sharing it through email or on website. So you can keep sending nominations also, because at the end of the month, we are planning to have another event, because this is a short notice and many require time. So tomorrow, whatever best we can do within the short time, we'll be doing. Otherwise also, the last day, probably in the last week, we have one more event. You can keep nominating yourself or your faculties or professors. So we can also have one more celebration of the last week or last day of this month. So we appreciate everyone for for joining us in these commemorations and celebrations. So wishing you all happy World Teachers Day for tomorrow in advance. So see you all tomorrow with the same joining link at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Take care. Good night.